In today's tutorial we're going to be drawing a blue tit. So there are a few things to think about when you're going to start drawing, and it's great if you can get yourself a photograph or an image from a magazine or something, and the best way of doing this is to have the image in front of you. But once you start getting practice of drawing, it might be nice to sit outside and have a go at drawing birds that you can see. So we've got a picture of a blue tit in front of us, and when we're looking at the bird that we want to draw, the best way is to look at the space around the edges of the bird. It's even a good idea to use your finger to sort of feel the shapes, so you know that you've got to draw a curve to his back and then down to his tail. And that's how we're going to start off drawing. So today I'm using a graphite stick, and it's a 6B graphite stick, but you can just use any pencil. This is quite good for the tutorial because it's dark and shows up so you can see me drawing. So an interesting thing about most of these garden birds is that there are some lines from his eye to his beak. Do you see? It's quite a straight line. And then we've got his from his tail all the way to his wing. That's a nice straight line as well to draw. So we're going to start off by just mapping out some lines. So we're going to draw a line on the paper from the eye point to the beak point. And then we're going to think about the shape of his back. So we're going to draw in the back line, okay? And here we've got a shape like that. The next thing we're going to map out is a rough shape of the shape of the head. And these lines aren't going to stay, you're just using them to guide you. So you've got your circle for the back. And then we have the chest as well. And that's another circular shape. We're just going to map out on our paper. And then we want to think about the direction the wing goes in. So we've got your line here and it goes all the way to the middle of the body. So we start in the middle of the body and think about where you'd like the tail to end on the page. And he's got quite a long tail. If you think the tail goes, it's almost double his body, okay? So I've mapped it out on the paper to start here. So I'm just going to draw an angular line so we get that shape on our paper. The next angle we're going to think about is the one that goes from the back down to the other tail, and that goes in slightly a different downward direction. So we're going to find the point on the back and end here. So it's a different kind of angle. And they cross over each other actually, those two angles. The next thing we want to think about is how the bird stands up. So we've got his feet here, and you can feel that angle. It goes from the bottom to the top of the page. Okay, so we find where the weight of the bird, if you can see, the main weight of the bird leads from the back here down through the wing and then to the foot. So the weight of the bird goes onto his foot and claw. So you make a mark here where his claw comes from, down, and we see that angle, and that gives us a rough angle of where we'd like him to stand. You can see the other angle is slightly different, the other foot of the bird. Okay, so we've got a rough shape of how we'd like the bird to look, and now we can go back and add in. So we've got all our guiding lines. Now you can see, first thing I've noticed is his beak points upwards. Okay, the bottom of the beak. So we want to draw in that little angle. Okay, so we're going to actually put that eye in now. And we're going to think about the shape of the beak, and we can get rid of some of our other lines later. Obviously I'm using quite a thick pencil, so you can't get rid of the lines. And then we're going to think about his head, and I'm just looking at the head, and the head comes down into the body, and I'm just drawing around some of the angles, and again we've got an angle for his head, and we're going to leave that angle there, follow it round down to the tail tip. Okay, and we're going to think about putting in that body there. And the next bit, we're going to do this wing. Now that wing is quite a big wing. It's got lots of structure in, right down to the tip, and then the top of the wing. Just making some angles for the tail. You can go back in with some of the details of the lines that you can see. You can see that there's lines on the tail. The next thing we're going to think about again are these feet. So there's a sort of triangle here to his feet. Okay, and again on here for his claw. And then a little bit more pattern on the head, and perhaps you colour this in with some colour later. Now obviously, because I've got quite a thick pen, it's difficult to see, but this gives you an idea of how to get started with drawing birds. So maybe it will help you to think about, when you start drawing a bird, that you've got those different shapes, and to mark out those angles so that you can draw some of your garden birds as well. So that's the end of the tutorial, and I hope that you can enjoy doing some drawing at home. and perhaps you can post some of your images on the Surrey Library Facebook page.